non mollava mai, quello che doveva fare stare sempre su il morale, ma io mi ci trovavo bene perché sono sempre stato uno che mi piaceva dare fuoco ai miei compagni, caricarli prima delle partite.
Il mio sogno si è avverato, è uno dei sogni dei bambini, di tanti bambini.
È un qualcosa per la gente che riusciamo a fare diventare matti, riusciamo a fare diventare felici e contenti.
Con questa maglia devo veramente fare una performance diversa perché sto rappresentando uno dei club più grandi al mondo.
Hi everyone. Hope you're all doing all good, and it's and everyone's awake, of course, because we're doing a slightly different day. It's Monday where I am, and I think depending on the time zone, it's probably the start of the week. So happy start to the working week, but we're back with Milan content because the weekends aren't just enough for us. So we prefer to do it on a weekday. So with me, Lab Gorilla, as always, bringing us amazing content. Doing good there, John?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Obviously, I've changed my avatar a little bit to reflect a slightly new interest. But there's a lot of content. Actually, there's something we want to bring to everyone on Milanista 360, and we want to have this discussion. It'll become clearer as we go through. So let's start, Hasni, straight with the game. The first game last night against Verona. And let's talk about that, okay? So it was a 1-0 win, a Rabiot goal, a Leao assist. But did Milan play? First of all, Hasni, did you manage to watch the game?
Yeah, I watched the replay. As you mentioned, just with that solitary goal, I don't know. Maybe your thoughts first, then, before I go.
Yeah, so I was walking some dogs whilst watching the game on my phone. I think a lot of Milanisti are checked out at the moment, but it wasn't good, man. I was surprised at how much of the ball Verona were allowed to have. They looked like the team that were comfortable on the ball, but they really looked like up top they had nothing. And I expected, one play to break them open and for Milan to score a goal. I expected a few more goals thereafter. For reasons that I'm going to make clear later on. But it didn't happen, did it? It was like a defensive performance to try and hold out and keep it at 1-0. And I got to say, if it wasn't for Gabi, I think it would have finished in a draw. So saying hello to Kim, hello to Fahadinho, hello to Nico from Mexico. So, ciao a tutti, ciao a tutti. So, Hasni, how did you see the game?
I just want to put this in the context because I think that's one thing that's lacking. So we came off of some quite recent poor results. And even if we did bounce back, it's not the same conversation that we had maybe many months or many weeks ago now that we were talking about, solidifying the second place. So we're under threat. And the team that, and if you'll allow me to say that, I think we scraped by because judging by some of the chances, the quality of chances that Verona had, I thought were much better. Yes, we had a good. I think Rabiot he had about 2 attempts on goal, if I recall. There was one early on, and then there was the one that from the goal, thanks to the Leao. I don't know what you call it, like it says the pass through through the defenders. So it's good of him to spot that out. But after that, Verona, if they could score, they had some chances to actually try to do it. Not clinical, not excellent chances. So of course we've seen better. But those are the things that in a game like this, and if it was down to the wire, it could have punished us and we could be looking at a draw. But back to keeping the clean sheet. I don't think we've had that in a while. And getting the 3 points, probably the only highlight that I can think of. Other than that, nothing too eventful, Santi came on, a bit of rotation throughout the game. Nothing much to shout about.
Not really, no. Pulisic had another stinker. It's definitely something off with him. Leao, apart from that assist, didn't do well. It's Gabbia, really, the standout performer, I would have said, in that match. I've got to say, I think he was chalked off on a goal that to me, to my eyes, I said, I was outside, I was walking dogs. Maybe the screen clarity wasn't great, but to me, that looked like it was onside. But I didn't see a VAR replay either. But whatever. He was.
But they used the tech behind it. Yeah, I saw
They
they had the
showed it, yeah.
graphic. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So there was part of his body that was in front of the line. Okay, right. So let's just talk about the starting lineup again. I'm using the Gazzetta. I like it very much. I like their color coding. So the Gazzetta system tells you, and if the headline came out the day before, hasn't he, which was Milan are going to try, Allegri is going to try Leao and Pulisic again one more time, and again it just. I fail to understand this. I fail to understand what's going on. I guess the biggest change here was that Gabbia was coming back into the defense, and that should have brought, the expectation was that should have brought defensive solidity because he's a proper out and out defender, unlike so many of those players that were taking that position. And
Is that
yeah,
is
go
that
on.
the missing piece? Do you think? So I'm starting to think about all the goals that we conceded recently. Putting Gabia there, would it really have changed much? I don't really think so. Yeah.
I mean, the problem is he's only one defender, hasn't he? I
Yeah.
mean, but I would say he's a proper centre back that does his job, and he sticks to
Yes.
what he
Yes.
belongs. He's not one of these. Tomori will run forward. Pavlovic is even worse, of course. We know. Yesterday, the
Yeah.
commentator again was like, look at Pavlovic. He's at the top on his own," and you know, there's issues. There's issues, and I think I keep saying this, but Pavlovic might work if he had proper defensive players behind him. But Pavlovic requires someone like Gabbia there, and he requires someone like Rabiot in the midfield to fill in for him when he goes mental and he goes forward. But again, also Bartesaghi on the flank is a better fit than Estupinian, But I have to say, Verona were far more comfortable on the ball, and they gave Milan a lot of trouble. And it was so surprising because I see Verona as a Serie B club. They basically are a Serie B club, hasn't he? They're going straight back down. I'll show you this in a minute. There's nothing to them really, but they passed the ball quite nicely. They were quite comfortable, and they wanted to make a fight of it, and that's really credit to them that it finished only 1-0. They clearly are still fighting, and it's credit to them. Right. So
Yeah,
this I
but
want
for
to show you.
just one more thing to add. But for a team that's almost certainly going to be relegated, a 1-0, anyone down there would have think that it's such a slim margin that you could have taken some points.
And they could have. I mean, at the end of the day, they could have. There was a chance cleared by Gabbia right at the end. So
Yeah.
actually, they could have taken the points if it wasn't for that player. And you kind of wonder what would have happened if there had been another defender there. Would that defender not have been in that position? That's the kind of thing, hasn't he? But if the Winter had been there, for example. But let's be clear here. So, as you said, Jimenez came on. He really didn't do anything. Ricci came on as well. Salamaka came on. I think, honestly, at the moment, Atacama is a better choice than Salamakis. Salamakis gone off the boil for whatever reason, and I don't know what that is. But look, he didn't even use all of his subs, hasn't he, within this game? And look how short the subs bench is. If you look at these players, do you really think he was going to pick Pitarella as another goalkeeper? He wasn't, was he? Terracciano there as well. You look at this subs bench and you think it's extremely, extremely light. And that's basically the choice that Allegri and the ownership had made. And again, we'll go back to the actual squad depth later on. So here are some stats. I'll just say ball possession, Milan were just slightly above. But for big swathes of the first half, Verona were not allowing Milan to even touch the ball. Shots on goal was only 3-2. And block shots, Verona 7 block shots, Milan only 2. Offsides, Milan 1. And that's it, really. So it was quite an even game, as we said. That one goal, took it away. We won 1-0, taken the 3 points, you move on. And it's an important 3 points in terms of, making sure that you're going to get Champions League. Let's talk about that right now, Hasni. So this is the current league table. So you've got Inter, they've won. Guys, they've won. Okay. 12 points clear. They won their game. I put basically everything in my betting account on them to win. And in the second half, they went and scored 3 goals, if I remember correctly. It was really comfortable at the end. They're going to be playing the next 5 games, just celebrating every game with the fans, which is sad and pathetic in so many ways. Napoli were thought to be the team that were going to put up a fight against them. They've checked out. The last 2 games, they've dropped 5 points. So they've completely checked out. But I've got to say, congratulations to Lazio. They won the game 1-0. They scored and then they held out. Very, very impressive, actually. And it turns out that Lazio have won the last 4 fixtures against Napoli in away games, which is quite a remarkable thing since we know so many other clubs actually struggle there. By the way, Hasni, to the point we were talking about last week, Lukaku's about to make a comeback. So he's been suspended for a month, basically. He's going in now and talking to Conte about getting playing time. They really
Internal
really
suspension
done.
before his next. It's not the first time, by the way. He's thrown one.
No,
of
he
these
does
fits,
this a
right?
lot. Yeah. Now the other thing is this: out of all the teams below, so Roma Atalanta played an entertaining 1-1 draw. Como lost to Sassuolo. That was a shocker, but that pretty much seals it as far as I'm concerned. The question now is second, third, and fourth position. Irrelevant, really. Whoever's going to finish second, third, or fourth doesn't mean anything to anyone, in my mind.
Hold
But
on.
the next,
John,
yeah,
that's actually not true.
go on.
I think for the Super Copa, they'll try. You know how they tweak the rules, right?
Right. Go
So
on.
if we got third place, we might not be able to make it to the Super Copa, I think.
Hasni, they will force it because in Saudi actually, is it going to be held in Saudi? We don't know anymore, do
Yeah,
we?
I think they have got like the 5-year agreement
Yeah.
or something like that.
The world is a bit upside down at the
Yeah.
moment.
I
But
don't
if
know
there
how they
was,
would justify the Super Copa for. I guess they could say that okay, the top 4 teams all go Super Copa because remember how they bent the rules for us the other time? It's like the finals
yeah.
of the Coppa
Yeah.
Italia get into the Super Copa. It was so weird.
No, I think they will fix it so that because these are a good 4 clubs to
Yeah.
fit in a Super Cup. If you wanted to do that, they'll somehow
Might
fix
as well
it.
call
Trust
it the
me.
Milan Cup.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that to be honest, most of the fans are turning up to watch Milan
Yeah.
in that region. But the next fixture is obviously Juventus against Milan. That will be a somewhat interesting game. But, there's an 8-point gap now to 5th. I'm glad Como are not there. I'm glad Como have dropped off the pace completely. I hope, in fact, they can get surpassed even by Roma. And, Milan are going to be playing Atalanta as well. So Milan's second place position right now is based on goal difference. As you can clearly tell, Roma is considered a lot more. Milan have the best defensive record in Serie A. Playing in the way
Which
they
we
do is
got
not.
in the first half of the season.
Oh yes, I should
If we
say the
base it on the
statistics.
Yeah.
Yes,
The second half
statistics show
season
that it's
statistics, I think it's a completely different story. Yeah.
yes. Milan performance in the second part of the season is 6th place, Hasni. Just so you know,
Yeah.
I looked into this. All right, but now let's see our opposition that we played. We played Hellas Verona, who had conceded 56 goals this season. Only worst by Pisa, with 60 goals conceded in 33 games. So that's something to really keep in mind when you say, the mighty Milan, with all of their attacking talent, all of that Fulkrug, Jimenez, Leao, Pulisic, scores 1 goal.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm sure someone online they did they probably totaled up squad values. It'd probably be like multiples of Verona.
Probably just Jimenez, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's just look at this. This was our form coming in. So Verona were coming in with just a bunch of losses. They lost against everybody. They were not heavy defeats, to be fair. So clearly, defensively, they were trying their hardest. But Milan, this is not, Hasni. This is why Milan dropped off the pace. To think at one point, Milan were like 7 points behind Inter. They've now dropped to 12. You can clearly see why, can't you? It's just falling through the floor, their performances. And I wanted to say this, Hasni. Okay, the team won 1-0, but how was that result received in Italy? And I wanted to show you. Pure anti-football. Next one. Verona, one step away from a draw. What a frightening phrase to say. Leao, I don't know what's happened to him, but he has stopped dribbling entirely, which was his how do you call it, his unique skill set that he's no longer doing, right? Hasn't he? He's unable to dribble past players. Verona, è davvero una pena vedere questo Milan. So it says here, it's really painful. It's like a punishment to watch this Milan play. You see how the word play is giocare. See how they put it in brackets? Because they're not playing football anymore, according to this fan. Now look at this one. It says Modric. He was so happy because he got involved in a defensive phase where he blocked a Verona attack, and he celebrated as if he just scored a goal. No, and they're saying, "Oh my God, it's just sad that the guy's having to celebrate moments like this." So he says, this guy Salvo says, we had to basically dig ourselves, a trench to try and hold out against a team that is last in the league. We played like a provincial side. And then the last one, San Matteo Gabbia is back. Absolutely have to give him his credit. I think, honestly, the 3 points go thanks to, as Nico says, thanks to him and Mike. So, Hasni, any comment on these? There was really, this was a big video piece in the Gazzetta with Milan fans just hammering the style of football, saying it's not football.
Yeah, it goes to show that this management really hopes that the fan base has a short memory, but we don't. We remembered what happened in the past 4 games. So, what does a 1-0 victory against a nearly relegated side?
They're relegated. They are relegated, dude. Yeah.
So, yeah, it goes to show that in terms of the sentiment, it's still at a low. Oh, yeah, we win this game fine. Even if we lost it, yeah, we could still make top 4. So, does this really change tip skills? No. I guess it makes it more comfortable is that if we do lose against Juve, maybe we'll still be
it won't
okay
matter.
with top 4.
Yeah, it really. I mean, they're trying to hype it up, of course. They always would do, right? Oh, by the way, guys, I need to say this. The zone advert for Serie A, they say Serie A, the home of the legends, and they have pictures of Maradona, Maldini, all the big, Van Basten. They got those pictures. The home where all of these great players and these great historic clubs come from past legends to current legends. And I'm not kidding you. They showed Kefren Turam and McTominay.
What the hell?
I was like, no, you did not. That is the DAZN advert, my friend.
It reminds me of this comment. It involved Milan as well. So a few years ago, AC Milan legends against so-called Liverpool legends. Do you remember there was that game that we lost, but Pirlo scored the free kick? Someone made a comment saying that AC Milan legends versus Liverpool ex-players.
Yeah.
So there's levels to this, yeah.
It's absolutely, no, it was like the Liverpool squad. I was there, right? The Liverpool players that were coming out were like, who the hell are they? Who are they? They had to explain their CV so that the fans are like, oh, that's who it is. Like, sad, man. Whilst the Milan players are like, here's Pirlo, and everyone's like, wow, here's Serginho, wow, here's Cafu, wow, that
Kaká was there as well, yeah?
Kaká was not there.
Oh, no,
okay. Not in that particular game. He was not. Yeah. No. Sorry, I'm talking about. I wasn't the Liverpool game. It was a Spurs game, but I also watched an Arsenal Legends game against Milan Legends game, and I don't think Kaká was there either. The Liverpool one I didn't see, dude.
Okay.
Spurs Legends, there's no such thing. Spurs are about to go into the Championship, man. It's kind of crazy.
I honestly, I really want them to get relegated because that would be the biggest show.
Yeah.
So someone was simulating it, saying that, because in the Championship, I think you have more than 20 teams, I think, yeah?
I don't know.
So they have, more games, and then like probably the biggest stadium in the in the
I
championship.
mean, their stadium is amazing, dude. But I completely understand why people in our chat want Spurs to go down because they want to pick off players. Hint, hint, Nathan. I know you do. All right, in case when you listen to this. Right, next one. I just wanted to also show you some headlines. So Desai, why don't we just listen more to the legends of the team? So he says, it says here, Desai double tackle. Leao is not a leader, and Bastoni is not even worth half of Maldini's quality. Do you disagree with anything he said? No, he's not wrong. He says basically that Leao does not have the continuity in his ability. He goes up and down very much, and there's no way he could ever put a season together like a Messi or a Neymar. Now, another thing is Jimenez. He said, when I was playing as a starter, Milan were first. And then he goes and talks about a complicated year because of injuries. I know, my friend. I'm sorry, Jimenez. You are not the answer. I think the the club doesn't trust you. The manager doesn't trust you. Paid a hell of a lot of money, and that's probably the main reason why you were played so often. I would say that if you were trusted, and if Allegri was serious about trying a 4-3-3, as so many people spoke about, the central player would have to have been him, and you could have put Pulisic and Leao on either side. Of course, the manager didn't do that, but that just says everything. Either the guy is unfit, still unfit, or Allegri just doesn't see anything in him. And then there's a point here is Allegri says the number of strikers doesn't matter. The only thing important is to get enough points for the Champions League. I mean, again, that's Allegri telling you to your face, celebrate the Champions League, look forward to making Champions League qualifications. That is our sole objective. Any comment on this, Hasni?
Yeah, so sticking to the same script, which I can understand, but a lot of these things, and I think they say is probably is getting into the right ballpark in saying is that how bad is the decline of these players? So in the Scudetto winning season, this comment wouldn't have come up. I believe that.
No,
And
no.
I went and quickly checked Pulisic because I remember even in the disaster of a season that we had last year, Pulisic was still one of those you could count on to be like electrifying still on the pitch. Where has Pulisic gone? I can't recall the last time he scored a goal here, the second half of the season. It's been such a long time. And last season in the league, he's had, let me get the stats correct, 11 goals and 11 assists. This season, I think it's 8. 8 goals and 2 and 3 assists in the league. So this guy's also dropped off. No one's stepping up. Yeah. Players dropping off, no one's stepping up. Santi, I know long injury, but he's done nothing.
Yeah, makes you wonder, doesn't it, whether they know something or whether they just don't want to play for the manager. I don't know. So, I've got a question for you, Hasni, and
Yeah.
I would like your answer. Right, Milan finishes top 4, right? I'm going to say it. Milan finishes top 4. Anywhere in the top 4. I don't have a clue where. What do you want? What's your hope? Do you want another rebuild?
I'm kind of hopeless, I don't want to ask for something that I know I'm not going to get. Maybe the most realistic thing that I think that maybe they are thinking of is maybe a solid defender. That's it. That's all I'm going to ask for.
Well, okay. You're realistic, man. Yeah.
But every season we're shopping for defenders. Maybe this is the season. The next season will be the one where they actually pick up someone that, oh, I know this guy and I know he can play and he isn't absolutely broken or heading to prison, whatever vice that he has.
So I've heard this, Hasni. I've heard Forlani. People were saying, "Oh, Milan are going to go and sign a huge player. They're going to go and sign
Mr. X." Every season they call it Mr. X.
Mr. X or whatever you want to say. And Forlani goes, "No, we're not going to go and sign someone who's over 30 and blah blah blah." And it's Lewandowski's Mr. X in this case. That's been linked with Milan. Apparently he said open arms, come and get me kind of thing. And Forlani's like, no, I'm going to veto that. You're not getting him. So the question is, Hasni, honestly, I'm going to take you through the numbers. I'm going to take everyone through the numbers because I think the numbers are shocking when you see them. And the question you have to have is, do you trust this current management to go and do a rebuild again? And the other thing is this the way forward to have a third or a fourth rebuild in a row for yet another year? Or do you think
John,
that there is something here to build from?
John, why does this question of the rebuild arise? Because the way that it looks like, maybe we are just trying to solidify our top four position. So once that done, they've met the objective. I don't think there's going to be a rebuild. I just can't imagine for Lani or Jerry saying that we need a rebuild because yeah, mission accomplished. This is where Redbird wants to be and wants to keep us top four. You can play around second, third, fourth, but that's gonna be it. Maybe second is very trophy level to Cardinale.
So, I mean, yes, to them, that's trophy level. Yeah, but if you think about it, Leao is likely to leave. That's all the rumors are. He's gone, and Milan are just rolling him out right now to try and get stat padding, basically, to sell him to try and get a decent amount. They're not going to get a decent amount out of him, by the way. The rumors are there's a bunch of players that are going to also be coming back, and Milan don't know anything about what to do with them, and namely Musa. Um, it's going to be a bit of a mess this summer, and they're going to potentially have to think about a rebuild again because Allegri's come out and said, you know, Allegri and Tari have come out and said, yeah, we're going to try and think about acquisitions that fit the system, fit the mold, but I don't think they're going to be backed for it. And again, I just wanted to show you the trend, Hasni, because I think as a fan base, we're aware of it in the back of our minds, but we don't know the numbers, and I think the numbers are important. So I wanted to say, do you trust the process? Is the process to keep Milan top four and just keep spending more and more and more on transfer market on players that make little to no impact at all? And this is my point. You're about to see it, Hasni, and I'm going to put it graphically. And these are facts. These are not my opinions. These are facts. Okay, right. This is our CEO. This is our owner. 500 million euros spent since their arrival. Now get ready. For those listening on Spotify, I'll read this to you. Season 2022-2023. Milan spent 62 million euros on acquisitions. CDK, 37.5 million. Ciao, 12.8 million. Messias, 6.2 million. Florenzi, 3.15 million. Davis Vasquez, 0.81 million. And then Ranks on a loan, 1.3 million. Season 2023-2024. Total spend 132 million euros. Reindeer 24.8 million. Musa 21.2 million. Chukwueze 21.1 million. Pulisic 20.8 million. Ruben Loftus-Cheek 18.9 million. Okafor 15.5 million. Terracciano 4.5 million. Pellegrino 3.8 million. Jovic 500,000. Season 2024-2025, 139 million euros spent. Jimenez 30.2 million. Fofana 26 million. Pavlovic 18.5 million. Morata 17.2 million. Chicken Royale 16 million. Alex Jimenez 14.75 million. Bondo 10.5 million. Felix on a loan 2.9 million. Abraham on a loan 1.5 million. Sotil on a loan 0.75 million. And then we move to our current season. Total spend 170 million euros. Nkunku 37 million. Jashari 36 million. Ricci 23 million. Estupinian 17 million. Atakame, 10 million. Sisse, 8 million. Rabiot, 7 million. Odogu, 7 million. And of course, Modric on a free. Hasni, these are facts. These are numbers. Look how, when Maldini was there, look at his budget. Look at what he did. And then look at what they did after they got rid of Maldini and the amount of purse opening that they did and the garbage. And I'm talking about the garbage that has been brought in. This is my point. Do you believe that these people can do a rebuild? Because to me, they have not got a clue about football. And I'd love, I love the comment section, people to come in the comments right now and say what you think. When you look at the stark numbers like this, they look like they tried to go to the Gazzetta dello Sport and make out this story that we have spent €500 million on the club. There's another side to this, of course, which I'm going to tell you in a minute. But Hasni, having heard those signings and those numbers, what's your opinion?
Yeah, they just look at the trending. So from the Maldini transfer window, it's doubled. Then from the 2 seasons until we hit 8th place, we've added like what, another, if my math is correct, another 30 million on top of that. So is it forever increasing? Are we going to expect 200 million in gross spend by in this coming transfer window? I doubt so. But if that's how they're selling it, then I really don't understand their objective. Yeah, if spending money is a sign of success, where is the Moneyball script gone? This is not the Moneyball script. Oh, they're not following it anymore. They're selectively using Moneyball. Whenever we win, it's because of Moneyball. Whenever we lose, we're just gonna keep quiet and say that we spend money. It's just all smoke.
It is, right? And I think, when I looked at this, it's shocking because you think Nkunku 37 million, Jashari 36 million. What's happening? It's like somebody's just going, I fancy buying this player, and I'm going to pay over the odds for them, even though I know no knowledge. No, they said, CDK was a huge error by Maldini, but they've gone and repeated it with Jashari. They say that, they blame these other things. Chow actually has gone to Newcastle, and he's made them a good profit. So yeah, you've got to look at these numbers, and it's got to be shocking. But now let's just continue this discussion, Hasni. 500 million in purchases, 315 million in sales. And here are just some highlights. Hauger, 8 million. CDK, 23.7 million. Theo Hernandez, 25 million. Pierre Kalulu, who, by the way, could be putting Milan down in the league table, at 14 million, gone to Juventus. Of course, Maldini, 6.5 million. Tonali, 60.8 million. Reindeer, 54.9 million. Simic, a youthful talent, gone to Anderlecht, 2.6 million. Okafor, 19 million. This is just the tip of the iceberg, Hasni, that I have highlighted here. If you look at the sales last season, they have literally gotten rid of more than a squad. So let's just look at the raw numbers here. Ready? Look at that, Hasni. Sales per year. Season 2022-2023, Milan sold 11 million of players. 2023-2024, Milan sold 75 million euros of players. 24-25, 53 million euros of players. We finished 8th, and what do? They cover their asses by selling everything and everyone. 25-26, 176 million euros of players. Remember, the market was 170 million, and Milan posted a profit of only about 3 million. Do you understand what's happening here, Hasni? And this is why I'm saying this summer they're going to sell more players, and they're going to have to bring in more garbage.
Yeah, but I just want to put things into context as well, and we also have to know what is the motivation behind the sales, especially the 23-24 window. So that's after Maldini left. They wanted to get rid of, or not they wanted, they got rid of almost every single Maldini loyalist. So if you have some connection with a guy, they're gonna sell you. Tonali, Theo. Essentially, Theo's value dropped before they sold
Yeah.
him to Saudi Arabia because yeah, he was angry at the club. They weren't playing him. I don't. I remember the interview that he gave. So there's a lot of issues behind the scenes, and when you do that, it's not just a matter of trying to make the most money. It's trying to get rid of the guy, and that
Yes.
is not the business decision that they should have made if they wanted to really focus on the books. So yeah, these numbers are depressed in many ways, really.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so let's just read some comments here. So Fahadinho says, "Remember Lab Gorilla? I once asked for this comparison just to show how bad management was compared." Yes, and Fahadinho, I had to wait for some journalists to put these numbers together because the ownership, they're using the Gazzetta to try and put forward a positive message. So they put this story out and they said, "We've spent 500 million in the club. We are serious investors in the club. We love this club." And actually, you look at the numbers and you realize that over all these seasons, they haven't. They have sold 315, spent 500, actually 175 million over 4 seasons. It's utterly, utterly shocking. And you guys have to understand, some people, and I've heard this said it. Listen, they said this is not the place, this is not the time to get rid of Allegri. This is not the time or the place to talk about players. This is a great moment to build a project. The moment to build a project was actually in 2022, 2023. That was the moment to build a project. That was the core of a club. But because of opportunism, that project was dismantled. Okay. And they have gone through a routine. What they do is they make up for their financial losses because they're not getting TV revenues from the Champions League. They're making it up by selling assets. They are now going to come to a wall where they can't sell those assets. Hasn't They're all going to be sold for losses now. Do you get me? I think the only asset that might give you profit is Leao from the time that we brought him in. But Leao came to us because he openly said Maldini got on FaceTime and spoke to him and invited him over, right? But they're going to make a loss on everyone else now. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's
Yeah.
put numbers behind that. Liao came, if I recall, almost 30 million at
Mm-hmm.
his peak, and everyone was saying this. I think you could have easily gone for 90, and even that, many people would say it's a low number. Now, looking at his recent performances, how the team is doing, can you imagine any Premier League club playing about 50? And I think the number 50 is being, I don't know, indirectly floated by
I
the
think it's
journalist, right? Who have a
tough.
connection.
Yeah. Yeah. I think 50 million is tough. It's a luxury player. It's really obvious now. It's like because I don't know what you want to say, injuries, formation, whatever. The guy has just completely gone off the boil and is unable to do exactly like that comment said from that person who said his distinctive features have gone. His ability to take players and run into space, because he's being played as a centre forward and he's not that, right? But I've got to say, guys, I hear so many people saying, look, let's just finish top four and start to build a project. Why are we waiting 4 years to talk about a project? And does the team you see today form the core of a project? To me, it really does not. There's like maybe two players that I would keep out of it. Everyone else are not players that you can build anything around. So what do? Do you bring a bunch of unknowns? The only
Who,
budget they're going to be able to
who are
have is
those
if they
players,
can
John?
sell. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It's
Okay,
not
let me ask you:
Lewandowski, dude.
if you had to pick two or three players, who would you pick?
If I had to pick two or three players, is
Yeah,
that what you said?
yeah,
Okay, I would bring in Palestra. I'm a huge fan of Palestra. That would
okay.
be a player I would bring in. I'll get rid of, no worries whatsoever trying to think. Palestra would be a great addition on the right flank. I'd have him there. Um, Now let me think on a midfield. Just trying to think of a midfield. Oh, well, Spurs might have a few players available actually that we might want.
On the team.
Um, yeah, Udogi, that might be a decent one to bring in. But
Yes, you're right. You're right. I completely forgot about him.
yeah, he might be
I
a
think he ticks
decent
all the
one.
boxes there, don't you think?
He might be available for cheap, and I think Nathan has
Yeah.
been pushing for. He's been praying for Spurs to get relegated because of him. Yeah, that would be another one. And I'm not kidding now. I would bring Camarda back and I would integrate him in the first team as well. Those would be three. And I think the issue here is Palestra's an Atalanta player. I think there's very strong rumors linking him to Inter. And I hate the thought of Palestra one flank and Di Marco on the other. That would be chaos for the league. Um, Absolute chaos for the league if that happened. It would be like just write off league titles for the next few years if that continues. And the other thing as well, Hasni, is I'd have to have a very serious think about Allegri. And that's going to be controversial. A lot of people are not going to agree with me, but I would like a younger manager with more of a thought. But they have to be backed with players. The issue is, I've just named players that play for the Italian national squad, and I just don't see it. I just don't see them focusing on that unless they can see that FIGC are going to start to do something. But I don't think FIGC will, looking at the names that are being put forward for the presidency. So Fahadinho says, to all casual fans who wanted to allow this management time, what do you have to say now? Fulani Moncada is still cooking. They burnt the... Yeah. I mean, strange rumor this week, Hasni, and I don't know if you've heard it, was that Allegri banned Moncada from attending training sessions from Milanelli.
Moncada? I thought it was Zlatan, no?
No, Moncada, man. And
Okay.
it's like, I don't know why that is, dude. I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether he's being used. Maybe he's responsible for coming up with all these shit names that have been coming in for huge amounts of money. But I don't. Okay, listen, Hasni, the squad now is too thin. So the way I say is a rebuild. Look at what happened last season: 176 million in sales, right? A lot of high value players got
Yeah.
rid of. We don't have that amount of value in the squad right now, and there's only about 18 players for him to pick from. How do you face Serie A, Coppa d'Italia, and Champions League with this? Tell me, Hasni. How this is what you said. If you had three players going to be enough? Nowhere near. Nowhere near. You need at least five, I think, and they have to be strong.
Yeah, just to put this into context, you really have to focus on these players, what you want to achieve with these players. I think trying to get the Scudetto, if we are
No,
in the Champions League, forget about it.
no.
Yeah, you can bring in five players, they're not integrated. There's going to be some clowns in there. You're not going to have the manpower to handle two competitions seriously.
Yeah.
So
No.
I think with three players, if we focus on, dare I say, and it's sad for me to say it already, if you just focus on the smaller trophies, you might be able to get it, by the way. Coppa Italia, Super Coppa.
Wow.
That's it. That's our level now. We're like mid-table club. But if you
That's
ask me which
horrible to
players that
listen
I do
to.
want, yeah, Udogi, I think it's a good pick. I want Chiesa. Chiesa is not
Oh,
doing much.
that's you know what, Hasni, that's a great
Yeah.
shout. That's a great
Yeah.
shout, man. Chiesa is a really interesting shout. But a team that I saw yesterday. I'm sorry to do this. I thought he would fit into Roma. Chiesa would fit into that squad under um, under that management a lot better, I think, hasn't he? Because they're playing progressive
Yeah.
football. I don't think they do with this Milan squad. Chiesa wouldn't fit this Milan squad because it's not progressive football, man.
Are they going to keep
Yeah.
Gasperini or not? Because if
There's
I'm not
big
mistaken,
rumors.
I think, yeah,
Listen,
his
I don't want to
objective
turn this.
might have been top four.
Yeah, I don't want to be turning this into a Roma podcast, but I can tell you, obviously I keep an eye on them. There's strong rumors that Gasperini and Ranieri have had a big falling out. Gasperini, in the last press conference before the game, he spoke about a former Atalanta owner that he worked really well with, and he actually left in tears. The press conference. It's really a lot of pressure being put on him. I was having this discussion in the chat with Carmelo, one of our true hardcore Milanisti, and he was telling me that the tension at Roma has never been easy to deal with, even though they're such a historically they don't have like what 3 Serie A titles. They're not a heavyweight, but to them they're so they just want a lot more. They always want success.
Yeah, you
So
can't deny they're ambitious. Yeah, with Mourinho, that's an ambitious manager.
they're
That you
very,
got
very
him.
ambitious. Yeah, but I think Chiesa would fit their model, dude. I really do. I don't think he would fit. Under Allegri, I don't think he would fit. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, but obviously, I guess he played at Juventus, didn't he? So maybe. Yeah. No, I don't know. Do you think Allegri stays? I think he stays.
Yes. Yeah.
I think he stays
Um,
for at least another season. Yeah.
because according to everything, you just look at the consistency. The message has been clear: make top four. So if he's
Yeah.
make top four, then really, I'm sure there's a clause in the contract that say that if you fire a guy after he's hit the objective, it's probably going to be very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't expect. Just get used to not expecting any kind of expansive football at any point because he just won't do it. He won't do it. And the way he speaks is like, it's all good and well, but I just need the points. And
He just needs probably about like 3 games, I think. Another 9 points, that's probably it, to get the top four. Then the rest draws,
no,
losses,
Hasni,
he probably doesn't care.
I think there's just too much, too many points being dropped by the teams below. So Roma and Atalanta are the only teams that
Yeah.
could. Como and Como have had 2 consecutive losses as well. So it's quite funny because Como in the last game, I watched that game, dude. Because I expected them to win against Sassuolo, and they started the game with Morata, hasn't he, as a striker, and that's when I knew they were not going to win.
That's
He
our
was
secret weapon,
useless.
by the way.
Yeah, he is. Played,
Como.
played 90 minutes, was not subbed. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. Does that surprise you? No, because we've seen that day in, day out, week in, week out. Morata is gone. He's shot to pieces. Since he came to Italy, he's completely gone. Yeah, incredible that Fabregas just puts his mate up there and then just leaves him off. That was a big mistake. Big. This could cost
For
them.
our sakes, leave him there. He can start Morata every single game.
Oh well, yeah. No, I can start more. As far as I'm concerned, I can start Morata all the time. I mean, I told you, and I won't hide it. I hate what Como are doing with their model. I hate it. Right, so let's just finish off now because I've got about 10 minutes before I need to go. So, right, here's our model again. This is where we were, Hasni, at one point. It looked. Look at Juve, how far Juve were, right? Then we moved to this. Napoli looked like they were going to be the anti-Inter. And then we've moved to this. A ridiculous gap of 12 points. We have the same points now as Napoli, and Juve are only 3 behind. And what is the next fixture, Hasni? Milan, Juve. The big one. Do you want to maybe give us what you think is going to happen? So Juve are on a good run of wins. I've got to say, they played terribly against Atalanta. They should not have won that game, but they got that, one of those 1-0 wins, makes you wonder if they had started the season with Tudor, the famous manager that went to then Spurs and got sacked after only like a couple of games. But if they had Spalletti from the beginning, Juventus would have been, I think, comfortably in second. He's got them playing. Against Bologna, it was a comfortable win, actually. But what's your prediction from Milan Juve?
I think we might be able to win it. I saw the game against Bologna. It wasn't great. Yes,
No.
they won it, but how they won it, it was hell scrappy. You gotta admit.
Yeah.
That was not a clinical game by Juve by any standard.
No.
So I get
No.
the fact that Spalletti's telling me that you guys just, I don't care if it's Sunday league, Monday league, whatever league, you guys got to put the ball in the back of the net and we need the points. And yeah, they're right. They probably need the points more than us, but the way they play, it's if you thought that we were playing bad, then they're not far off. They're not far off. Even the players that they have. And Jonathan David under a lot of pressure to score. High expectations on him. I think it's showing that this league might be a bit too big for him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so Fahadinho thinks that Juve will beat Milan. Well, yeah, I think obviously Napoli should beat Cremonese, but I have to say Napoli are so checked out. Their draw against Parma they lost to Lazio. I mean, Lazio did amazing after they scored. They held out so well. But that guy we spoke about, Giovanni. Oh my God, mate, he's a problem. He's not very good. He's just not a very good acquisition. Hoyland was playing, but he just couldn't put it in the net. I mean, Napoli created plenty of chances, but Lazio fought well. I was quite impressed with the defensive setup, actually. So yeah, I expect Napoli to win. I expect, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Milan Juve was a draw, and then Inter
Yeah.
get their win and they're basically crowned champions. That oof! Imagine Milan Juve getting a draw and then Inter being crowned champions that same night, that same weekday, match day.
What does that take them to 22 or 21 titles after this win?
21.
Yeah, it's
21.
they're building a mountain there, if you know what I mean.
They will. They will. This is their concern. Is they have to rebuild this summer as well, which is going to be an interesting one for them. But if the rumor's true that they're getting Palestra, I just cannot believe it. I could not believe it. They did
Yeah.
that.
It's not
Yeah.
surprising the draw of that club, because when you win, when you're competitive, when you've made Champions League finals,
Yeah.
people will be attracted to it.
Yeah. No, exactly. And even though Lautaro got injured and he was out for a couple of weeks, they still managed to, Esposito comes in, and then Turan comes in, then Bonnie comes in. Like, oh my God, they just keep bringing on half decent strikers that have all the abilities that we wish we had one of. Yeah, it shows you how far short we are when you think about it that way.
Yeah. And what do they have? Rookie manager. They got a near retired keeper. they can win the league.
Rookie manager, he's extended. Mkhitaryan
Yeah.
started the last game. They rested players against Cagliari and still smashed them and broke them to pieces in the second half. It kind of tells you, it's about goal scoring. It's about goal scoring and collecting those wins. We had way too many draws during the season. But I think my main concern is that Milan's going to become a yo-yo club, hasn't he? In and out the Champions League just constantly for as long as this kind of process continues. So you can't go with
Even
a
when
second.
we're in the Champions League, we're yo-yo as well.
No, that's exactly what I mean. That's what I mean. Sorry, I don't mean a yo-yo club to winning anything. I'm talking about in and out the Champions League. So next year we're in the Champions League, but then we won't finish in the top 4. So we'll be out of it. Then they'll go again, and then they'll be in the top 4. You know what I mean? Because they'll be out of every competition.
Yeah,
I think this is we've now sold all the assets. That's what I'm saying, Hasni. You can't have another 175 million sale window. You now have to put money in, and we know they don't put money in, Hasni. They just don't do it. So I think next season we drop out of the top 4 again. That's kind of how I see this as a yo-yo club. It's why I'm just desperate for seismic event to happen in Milan to get rid of these guys, because I don't see a way of coming out of it. You look at their mercatos, Hasni. It's really obvious, and Fahadinho makes a great point. Furlani should never have been trusted with these massive acquisitions. Should never have been trusted, but they did. And the rumor is he can't leave any earlier than October. So this is another transfer window that he's going to meddle. So yeah, that's the problem I have. I think.
One other thing that I'm certain about Forlani is that he has a ChatGPT premium subscription, because that's what he's doing every single transfer window. Dear ChatGPT, who should I buy for under 20 million? That's exactly how he sets his targets. But there's one thing that I do want to say about the Champions League that it's even more saddening than when people realize. Us making the Champions League to realize that we don't even have a campaign in the competition. It's just us to collect the what is it, the TV rights, like 20-30 million, and practically lose every single game. It's so embarrassing for a club of our status, if we still have it.
Yeah, I mean, one thought that went through my mind is that we're playing against Hellas Verona. I thought, imagine this squad playing against a Manchester City. Oh my God. It would literally be 10 men on the goal line. Scared.
We'd just be cannon fodder. And if we were to draw, it would be like celebrating it like we won the competition.
And we go back to the beginning point, which is, the thumbnail. The only worry for Milan now is to be looking in the mirror at those two clubs below them. There's no interest of anything else at the moment. It's just, +8 on fifth place. I think it's done pretty much. The problem is two of the next three fixtures. In fact, the next three fixtures, honestly speaking, they're all losable, aren't they, Husney? That would put a cat amongst the pigeons if that happened. So I know there are some Milan fans that are just desperate for this club to finish outside the top four, because that's the earthquake moment where they have to post such a massive loss, because they're already going to post a loss of over 30 million. They're going to post such a massive loss that they won't be able to make it up with any player sales. And then you'll be faced with the actual reality of uncovering what these people are, which is there's no project. There never was. So we'll see, Husney. It'll be really interesting, I think, by after the Atalanta game. But as you said, I don't think Juve are playing good stuff. I don't think they are at all. I think Napoli could also lose to Como quite easily. Who knows?
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah,
Napoli's probably checked out. Conte, I think Conte's that level manager. If you're not winning the title, then just go out and play for fun.
That's exactly it. I think last week when they drew with Parma, I think that was it. They broke and they went, screw this. We're not getting anywhere. And now Fahadinho says, guys, let's not forget Milan's previous financial success was mainly due to Maldini's achievements in sporting. He just wants to throw that out. Of course, Fahadinho, of course, man. Of course. There was a lot of
going to Australia to watch the
to watch. What are you gonna watch?
I was talking about it with my brother. It's before the World Cup, right? So who are you expecting to see, actually?
Is it before the World Cup or is it after the World Cup, hasn't he?
Before, I think they're playing.
I would have expected it to be after, mate. You know that. I would have expected after, like a pre-season.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but even if it's before, they would. Before or after, they wouldn't put any stars. I think everyone. If it's after, everyone will be on holiday. If it's before, no one wants to play or get injured.
Yeah, no, I think Modric will be on holiday after playing in the World Cup. He'll be resting. I think just think of the players that are not going to the World Cup. They're probably the ones that might turn up.
Gabbia,
Bartesaghi. Yeah, there you go again. Probably we'll have young goalkeeper in goal. That's the kind of thing that's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's up to you if you want to go, but anyway, so I'll stop there. One last thing I wanted to say is I will be doing a end of season review, as is customary every single year. Don't expect a lot of people to get out of this scot-free. There's going to be a lot of fury. Going to be
the same
players.
Message, just different episode.
You know what? I watched the one from last year, and I could literally copy and paste it. It's literally the same, pretty much. But one thing also I wanted to say is thank all the guys in the WhatsApp group. I think you're awesome. So, Hasni, help me out here. I put a call out to ask people, where are you from? What parts of the world? And I think I'm just going to name some countries, all right? Let's start with Mexico, Kuwait, Ireland,
Australia,
Scotland, Australia, Malaysia, England,
Indonesia,
Spain, Indonesia. So I think it's North America. Let's not forget North America as well.
America,
people from North America as well. So we really are a group of very, very fanatical people from all over the world. And, I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate the fact that we can talk about anything in the chat group openly, and we actually don't have arguments, which is incredible. And I think
we also got to shout out. We also got to shout out the Spotify listeners. Don't think I don't know where you guys are from, because it's showing up in our data. So for those, big thank you to those in Nigeria, Canada.
Wow.
Don't think I didn't notice.
Fahadinho says Brazil. Of course, Fahadinho. Yeah. Brazil, my friend. Yes. Forza Kuwait, man. But I want to thank all of you guys. You've been awesome. This season's not been an easy one. I've had a few rants, and really hope that by the end of the season, Shane, if you're listening, come and join us again, man. Let's do I was going to say something wrong. I was going to say, let's do a 3-way.
I won't be available.
Triple threat, I think, let's call it. A triple threat podcast before the end of the season, man. This will put pressure on you to do it, dude. But yeah, anyway. So what I'd love some comments on this video after this regarding what you think of the spend and what your expectations are for Milan, because that's what I'm inviting everyone to let me know. Let us all know. Do you think Milan will truly rebuild, or that they can use this squad to add to? I've had my opinion. Hasni's had his, so let's see what you say.
Yeah.
Ciao a tutti.
Forza Milan, and no wrong answers if you guys want to participate. And yeah, just a quick plug. If you want to join our WhatsApp, yeah, just drop us a DM. I'll pick it up and add you in.
Excellent.
Okay.
Ciao, ciao.
See ya, everyone.
Che comunque il calcio è imprevedibile e le cose non sono mai scontate, quindi è anche la bellezza, no, di questo sport.
Io rappresentavo per questa squadra, era quello che non mollava mai, quello che doveva